Hello darlings, I'm just turning off my telephone. So I'm back. This is for YouTube and Patreon. We are going to look at what has just happened, this total lunar blood full eclipse. And we're going to have a look at the next 2 weeks and just exactly what has been going on. So I spoke to you about the number 93 in my last YouTube video. I read to you a whole bit that Jamie Arthur Pickup wrote about the number 3, and I also mentioned the importance of Madonna having gone to live in Lisbon from the period of 2017. So she lived between 2017 and 2020. So that is really, I began making videos in 2017. This was really this passage that we went through. Then we had coronavirus. And then in 2022, so 2019, 2022, the Queen died today, the 8th of September in 2022. So the 8th of September is the birthday of the Virgin. It is the Blessed Virgin Mary, the birth of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So the modern biblical canon does not so how refers to a Christian feast day celebrating the birth of Mary, mother of Jesus. And what did we have on for the new black moon? In Leo, on the 23rd of August, we had the daughter of the fisherman, Fiji Simone, who is now the number 2 of ChatGPT, on the same day that they brought out this Netflix series called Mercredi. Mercredi is Mercury, and you can see she looks just like Morticia. And I mean, you couldn't make that up. You couldn't make somebody look more like Morticia. So there she looks a little bit more friendly, but she's French. This is the French connection. So we've basically got from the mother, the Virgin Mary, the mother. So Mary is not Virgo. This is Virgo, the daughter of Jesus. Jack, Jupiter, and Rose. And this has been going on. Jack and Jupiter have brought up Rose. So this is right now today as I speak. The moon is with Saturn and Neptune on the tail, marking this spring break. And yesterday we had the total, there it is happening. It went red, that eclipse, and it happened on the 7th of September, which makes 7, 7, 25 makes 7. 7, 7, 7 is the cornerstone. You have the 3 7s. It is the 21 passage of the girl to get her on the passage through onto the fixed cross. So it was the 9/7, and Diana died 28 years ago at the age of 36. So 36 is like 6/9. It's the yin yang, and the yin yang 69. The Queen died at 96, exactly 3 years ago. And the Queen was brought down from Balmoral at 96. But Diana so she died 64 years ago. Diana, she died 28 years ago. So I explained that is the cycle of the moon around Earth. 29, if you look at the synodic periods, so 28 day cycle. But by the time the moon has completed a cycle, the Earth's distance according to the sun, there's another day and a half. So 27 days and a half to 29. But that 28 nakshatras It's why Diana was with Islam, in love with an Indian heart surgeon, and Dodi Islam, the lamb, and this total lunar eclipse was on the lamb of God. So Neptune and Saturn. Neptune is the modern day ruler of Pisces, and Saturn is the true ruler of Aquarius, although we also now have Uranus. So this is ruled by Saturn and Neptune, Saturn and Neptune together, and the moon with exactly on the north nodes, and on the other side marking the daughter of daughter of Jesus Christ. So the Mother Mary is Cancer. The true today is the birthday of the Virgin Mary. The Mother of God is Cancer, Mary. And Mary had a little lamb. There will be no need of the sun and the moon. And they close to open the gates of the kingdom. For the lamp shall light the kingdom. The light, the lamp, the lamb. But Lucy in Narnia is at the lamp for the passage. And we had, so Cancer is the constellation of the Elizabeth line. So look, you see that constellation, that is the Elizabeth, after Queen Elizabeth, they created the Elizabeth line, and we now have Mercury in Leo. But the whole big thing over this summer is that we had Mercury going around the beehive cluster, which is right here. It's the beehive cluster. Okay, there's the beehive cluster. So the bee is 13, and Diana died at the Ritz, and now they're bringing up at the Biarritz, where you have Bab, Bayon, Onglet, Biarritz, Bab Alon. So Mercury, there he is, blinded there. He has been round. We had the 3 men dying, the French Hardison, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk. And then Mercury has moved out. So Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury rules Gemini. Get rid of that now. Mercury rules Gemini, and this summer we had, so a lot of people felt it, we had that 3-day conjunction, the 10th, 11th, 12th, they were absolutely conjunct on top of Sirius, Venus and Jupiter. Venus, the ruler of Taurus, where we now have, since the 5th, I was saying that he was going retrograde on the 2nd, no, Uranus went retrograde on the 5th, and now Uranus is under the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, as we had the 777 and the light, the lamp being lit in Aquarius. But as you know, they're rising Venus. So I said in my last video, I spoke about 93, and I said that Madonna went to live in Lisbon. And what happened in Lisbon on the Wednesday, the Mercury, the 3rd of the 9th, we had the Gloria, liberty and glory, the glory. She's Lucifer. She stands with the light, the lamp. Gloria, the tram, Gloria, crashed, killing 16 people and injuring 20. So that's 162. That is the day that the sun enters Aquarius. The sun enters Aquarius. Sun. It's Capricorn. 14. So that's the fertility festival, the 13th, 14th, 15th. And then on the 16th, 162, the sun enters Aquarius. But we now have on the summer solstice, 6/21, 216, the sun now enters, is on the wand of Merlin, the torch, the lights, and it is still in Taurus in the morning. In the afternoon it moves into Gemini, but in the morning the sun is, well, up until 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then from 17 the sun is in Gemini. So it's on the wand of Orion, Merlin. So if we go back to this summer again, what we've just lived, so we had Jupiter and Rose together from the 10th, and we had the new moon coming up, so it wasn't quite so. On the 11th, the 8/11, the sun enters Leo. It's always a big day, so that was a big day as the sun entered Leo in domicile. Jupiter and Venus were completely combust, and Mercury was still retrograde, going over the Elizabeth line to bring up the Lisbon. She's the name of the Prime Minister in France. Lisbon. The Lisbon Treaty was created in 2007. This is the EliZa Macbeth line. It's the hormonal Liza. This is no longer the feast of the daughter Mary, the mother of Jesus, Mary, but this is the Virgin. This is Notre Dame. This is the revolution, the girl. So today they announce that the French government, it's over. It's now over. This is on the front page of the newspapers today. So he was on the 13th of December, 2024. So 8 months and 23 days. So that's your 8 and your 5 for Venus. 2, 3 is 5. 8 is the cycle of Venus. And he was 73. And before him we had Michel Barnier at 73. We just had the man at Burning Man die at 37. 37 is EL, that gives us this Vesica Pisces, which is the passage that we've now passed. So Mick Jagger's girlfriend, 37 as well. And there we have, they've got 577. So 77 and 5, we're nearly at 777. It's nearly completed, and they will, in my opinion. So that comes out on the Virgin Mary's birthday, 37. This aeroplane has been missing. L. So there we've got the short red hair, the Elizabethan, and yesterday she won on the total solar eclipse. She won badminton for the second time running. Rosaline, she's called Rosaline, the Rose Line. On her horse, Lord GruffalO. That's L and a G is 7. So that's L7, which is LL77. The 14 pieces of Osiris, the 7/7 makes the 777. So she's not riding Liberty and Glory. She's riding the GruffalO, Lord GruffalO. The girl, Virgo, has tamed the beast. I mean, there's not a more incredible rider, but I did just notice something. Her mother is the spitting image. So the mother and the daughter, and guess what? She was pregnant. I mean, it's totally impossible. She got round the course with 8 seconds ahead. Totally impossible. And she won on a score of 23.6, and she was number 53, which is 8, and she was something the 7/7 as well. So look, that is the French woman, and I promise you that is her mother. So the French woman, the Giselle Pellicourt, G-L. G is L, we know that. G is 7 and is L. 37, a man at Burning Man died at 37. So she was raped by 73 men. 7337, and that is, I wonder if I can find another. So there is lovely Ros Canter. So you couldn't have a more red Elizabethan, and I think I know in this video that we see her mother. So her mother does all the work at the stables, and she mentions it a lot. The mother works really hard. So this was her trainer, who's now passed away. She's called CairO line. So her trainer, the CairO line, this is the CairO, makes way for the Rosaline. CairO line, the Rosaline. So she has won badminton and then Burghley, and she's just won Burghley for the second year. And we will see her mother here somewhere, because I've just looked, they don't show any pictures. So here's the mother working hard at the stables. So they show you the Caroline line. Where is the mother? Ah, there she is. So sweet, lovely woman. Sweet, lovely woman. But is that not? I mean, the same red hair, little nose sticking up. But again, it's just this French English. It's the French English merging the Rosaline. To lose the track, the city of red, the rose is pink. So here we've got the fifth element. We've got this killer girl in the middle, rising up. At the age of 37, Lucifer rising, Marianne faithful. This is just a little video I did. Liz born, hormonal EliZa, the Rosaline. Fado is the woman in black. Klaus, Mercury over the claw. And this is the whole French government is collapsing today. And this is the day are we going to see Lucy Castet and Berlin losing the head, Cass the head, and we're bringing up Salome today. I did a year ago a post on Salome today, and I said that my son is going to bring out the play in London, is coming out for the fall equinox. They are bringing up his play Salome that was presented in Israel, and now it's being shown in England. So there's your 2177. That is the passage, the 21 World Tarot card with the O in the middle, and it's to get her, we at her, and the George, the Rose line has been put up all over England. So 37 found in a pool of blood. As we have the red, that is your L, the 37, the blood moon. And then we had that going on. So thanks to Emily for pointing out again, the moon was in Aquarius, but there is this gap with Pisces, which is the sirene. The Little Mermaid is the siren, and they do refer to it all the time. So you see the moon next to the north node and the sun and Mercury next to the south node. So what is important, this chart here is showing us, this is the summer solstice, Gemini is now Taurus, Venus. So here we have, we're moving from Mercury to Venus on the summer solstice. For the winter solstice, we're moving from Sagittarius to Scorpio, hence Jupiter and Mars. Mars and Venus will take over from Mercury and Jupiter. On the spring, is Aquarius, Saturn, and Neptune, Jupiter rule Pisces. So we've got right now marking that gap, we've got in the home of Jupiter, Neptune and Saturn, and in the home of Saturn, the moon, and the moon rules Cancer, and we've got Venus right on the claw, Venus on the claw. There's Venus today and for yesterday, right on the claw, and Venus rules Taurus, where now Uranus is retrograde under the Seven Sisters, making the last retrograde underneath is RHO back to algorithms. And Mars, the ruler of Aries. So I said this is a big day. So this is when they're going to bring up the new government in France. You know, Lucifer, Mars on Allez les Bleus. And I just have this feeling, I keep saying that we're going to have, so then we'll have Mercury in the Sun. So Mercury in the Sun, Sun rules Leo, Mercury rules Virgo. Sun, Mercury, and they were banged together for this new moon, for this full moon. And we had the new moon in Leo on the 23rd. So on the 23rd, we had Sun, Moon, and Mercury. Mercury was still in Cancer, the home of the moon. So that energy holds for the whole month. Venus had just entered Cancer, was just entering Cancer that day, and Jupiter still right on Sirius. So this, you know, Jupiter is in the home of Mercury. He wants to get onto, this way he can own the fall, because Mercury and the Sun merge. He's now got the daughter of Jesus, Mercury, Jesus the Sun rules Leo, and Jupiter is in the home of Mercury. So then Mercury was in Cancer. And now Mercury is in Leo, but Mercury rules here, and Mercury rules here where Jupiter is. And so Jupiter is taking this eclipse on the Lamb of God, on the light, to light Venus, because it was a full moon in Aquarius, but Venus was in the home of the moon, on the claw, Klaus, the little pass. As Uranus is going backwards, as Uranus is making a square to Mercury and the Sun, is making a square when it should be the closing of the Sun and the Moon. This is France. Leo is the Sun King, the King, Leo, the King of France, the kings. And Cancer is the croissant. They eat croissant and they eat cheese. It's the moon. This is France, but the Sun and the Moon, there will be no need of the Sun and the Moon, for we enter the kingdom of God. Aquarius, America, but they rise on the cliffs of Biarritz. They rise, the VirgIN on the rocks, looking out to the Atlantic, and they close the doors to Saturn's home, because they want to rise first, the girl. First, the girl. So Prince William, all in the newspapers today. We've got right now Harry to return to the UK. This is exactly what I was going on about this was from the 23rd of August. So this was for the new black moon. So you've now got Leo, the Sun in Leo, and Pisces and Aquarius gives us the Ice Queen. And we're at the lamp. So this was all talking about, it was a year from the death of the 3 little girls, the black work, the blackjack. This is Jupiter using Venus to get himself onto the fixed and cardinal cross. So all this is about, so you've got the lionesses, this is Virgo and Leo joining, and now, so interesting with the girl who's won badminton, she was pregnant. Leo, the new Pope, the Lion Tamer, Prince and the Revolution, the Black Pass. So, and then so that was the new moon on the 23rd, and we had all the news going on with William and Harry. So this is how they keep hold of America. Harry has to be in America. He's with Mary Magdalene, Meghan Markle. So, you know, this is that energy of merging Leo and the sun. So in a way, it gives this attachment with this full total lunar eclipse. So Lucy, and this is, you know, this is exactly where we are. So they showed Biarritz the other day, everything red. And Beirut. There must be, I haven't looked into, but Beirut, red, the red bay, the Red Sea, the bay is red. So let's go back and look at what's happening now. So a pretty enormous, the 9-1, when Mars is on Spica. Venus will then begin to enter Leo for 9/11. On 9/11, Venus enters Leo, and the Twin Towers have fallen, and now we have the Statue of Liberty with just the one. Then the 12th, and then on the 14th, as the Sun and Mercury, just before they enter Virgo, we have the last quarter moon. So that's the total lunar eclipse. And then we've got the last quarter moon. So the moon is going to be exalted in Taurus, and the moon will be making a square to the Sun and Mercury, still together with the South Node opposite the North Node in the Lamb. And now the moon is exalted in the home of Venus. So this is really... this is really rising, and I said that in my Patreon rundown, which I did with cards. This is really rising. La Marianne, the Virgo, Leo, Harry is Leo, and Willie is Virgo. So Harry and Willie is really merging the sun. He's got sun in domicile. And I was saying, you know, I hope nothing happens to Will.i.am. And opposite, we've got the Will.i.am on the tail, the splash. So Mars square to Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn and Pluto trine to Uranus, Uranus square to Venus, and there's still very strong opposition between the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. But I would imagine, you know, this is really going to be about William and Harry, and in France it's the political revolution. So we've got this America, Harry coming from America, coming over the Atlantic. Virgo stands on the Atlantic opposite Aquarius, America, but instead, you know, they're meeting in Europe. This is Europe. So Venus on the 14th, Venus will be in Leo. She enters on the 11th. On the 10th? No, she enters on the 10th. And then the sun enters Virgo on the 17th, and Mercury enters Virgo on the 14th. So that is quite a big day. Mercury entering domicile, exalted, and the ruler of Gemini, where Jupiter is soaking all this up. Jupiter, there will be, for this last quarter, a big square. So there's a square from the moon to the sun and Mercury, and there is a square from Jupiter to Mars, and Mars, the ruler of Aries, opposite Chiron. So it looks like Chiron is going to be retrograding back into Pisces. So that is real siren energy as Mars. Yeah, it looks like Chiron at 1. So Chiron will go back into Pisces. So that's real alarm coming, because Jupiter, Jupiter and Mars, the rulers of Mars and of Aries and Pisces. Mars rules Aries, Jupiter rules Pisces, and we've got Chiron just about to come back next to the Liberator, Eris, the Liberator. Okay, so then 14th, we're going to be moving to the next new moon coming up. So first we're going to have the moon and Venus combust on Regulus. The moon, the ruler of Cancer, no more planets in Cancer, but a big combustion between this last waning crescent on top of Regulus. So again, that is a big date, the 19th. And then we're going to have the new moon on the 21st for that almost vernal equinox on the 23rd. 21, moon, Mercury and Mars still in Virgo. Twenty-first, and there we have Uranus now retrograde, square to Venus. This opposition is just another opposition again with Saturn and Pisces. This time it really is in La Petite Sirène. And has Chiron made it all the way back to Aries? And oh my goodness, Chiron's in 0 Aries. Chiron is now in 0 Aries, so that is a war bell. That is revolution. And Pluto square to Mars and square to Chiron. Mars will still be in Virgo, not in Libra. Will be in Virgo. Mars will leave Virgo for the 5th, and I just saw something big which is going to happen on the 5th. What did we see? We saw it as we were looking at stuff today. So he's coming back for the Queen Elizabeth's death. So this is the new world promised by Emmanuel Macron in 2017. So there we have again, Madonna went to live in 2017 in Lisbon, and now Liz born. She is born. So we see 44 million, all for one and one for all is the economy of the debt. Okay, so this was a post I just shared. of Jamie about this. So he put some really good dates together, numbers. So again, the 37-year-old discovered dead in a pool of blood. But don't forget, Burning Man is Black Rock City. BM, Michel Barnier was the Prime Minister before François Bayrou. BM, always Burning Man. Black Rock is 11191215. So he's saying Giorgio Armani, which is the Armani attended center in where Leonardo da Vinci. So the Leonardo da Vinci is just the St Andrew's cross. And don't forget, when the Queen died in my village, Andrew, the old man Andrew that told me all about the book, Abbé Pierre, he died on the same day. And a week after, his nephew and niece, just like in Narnia, turned up because he had no family at all. He's left his house to the village, and Polly and Digby, they look just like Polly and Digby. I couldn't believe it. They said we're the only relations of Uncle Andrew. And Uncle Andrew, so this is it, that, you know, this is all about, it's the closing to make the Lucifer sigil from full expansion to this midway between Jupiter full expansion back to Saturn. There is the Venus passage, there is the moment of rising the torch, of the female, of the woman, of the daughter of Jesus, Jack and Rose, that you see in all these archetypes. You're always going to see Jupiter with his daughter Mercury to lead people onto the fixed cross, through the passage, through the wardrobe, through. So basically this is exactly, so the 6-9 data connection to Mercury will be highlighted, the hermetic twin aspects during this eclipse. So 69, don't forget, we had the motorway A69 France between Toulouse and Castres, which is all the area that got burnt in Aude, and it's 69 is Cancer, and Cancer is the Elizabeth line, which I'm going to be showing you. So what did he put on the 21st? A lunar eclipse is always followed by solar, which will occur on September the 21st. Yeah, of course. It is the solar partial eclipse. So yeah, total lunar eclipse the 7th, and then new moon is the partial solar eclipse, which is going to be right on this axis, bringing us back to Mercury and Jupiter. So the lamb, the sacrifice, 16 people killed, 20 injured. That is when the sun enters. We should be going into North Node, Aquarius. The lamb is Will I Am. You know, we've got on the Will I Am telltale. The apple is killed by William the apple, so only the gorge, the George, the Adam's apple remains, not the true third eye. And that is taken by D'Artagnan. So 1 year ago, I was talking about Salome, and it was after the Olympics, saying that the Seine, the breast, is dirty. So dirty Diana, the breast, the revolution, there she is, rising. And this is some famous journalist who's called Salome. So this is Scorpio, this is Europe. Scorpio is John. And Salome, she kills the Scorpio axis. Scorpio should be rising next to Sagittarius, opposite Gemini, where Taurus is. So Luke, Taurus, is taking the place. Jordan, the Jordan, Nile. They show you that last 7, the crane, the Ukraine, putting Notre Dame onto the head, the Ukraine on the eye. This is the island of St. Louis. So Louis is the Sun King with Mercury, Our Lady, rising, Mercury and the Sun, Leo. So this is it. Nativity of Mary. So this is now the child of Jesus. This is her, the World Tarot Trade Center, the passage onto the fixed cross. And we have to now rise this girl within us before. So it's Jack and Rose. It's always, he dies and he leaves the place. Just like in Leon, the film Leon. And there we've now got just the one tower. Amélie Poulain, same character. Dirty Diana. Left, right. So, you know, all the newspapers as we're coming back to the left. Red and blue, PB 69. Diana on the blue star. This is the blue star. This is the blue star. This is the blue star. And for that 21, we've got Mars just leaving the last quarter. We've got Mars right on the blue star and Mercury and the Sun. So this girl who won badminton, she always wears that cornflower blue, that real cornflower. BB, so badminton and Burley. This girl has just won, and BB is 22 tarot cards. 22 is Aleph Tav. East West, the Elizabeth line. Lion and the Cobra. Romulus and Remus, Tess, and Her Majesty died. The Elizabeth line. So David Bowie, who wears that blue and his red hair in It's a God Awful Small Affair, Life on Mars. So, Leon Lourdes LL77. Okay, so there she is. The prize is the silver plates, the platter, the silver, the moon. There she is, Venus the Rosaline, CairO, Strawberry Fields Forever, tiny, incredible woman, pregnant. She completed and won for the second year the toughest course in the world. Venus the five-pointed star, the torches lit for this full red blood moon. She is born, the new girl that tames the Lion Beast Lunar Eclipse on the lamp, torch, light of Venus, the Lunar Silver Plate to celebrate the full moon. Goddess EliZa Line, Liberty and Glory, LG, Lord GruffalO, The Good Life, you know, this is GL, and Rosaline Canter, CR, Canada, Russia, Charles Rex, the new Rose Line, CairO Line is her, Liz Bourne, Elizabeth Line, Nile is Back to Black, Union Jack, and Rose. So you've got an Irishman, an Englishman, and Ros Canter in the middle. So my webinar is up. I'll post a link to it. Okay. See, she always wears this pale corn blue. So this girl, Laura Branningham, Gloria, I think she just died. Biarritz, postcode 64. When I'm 64 chromosomes, Diana would be 64 years old. Last seen at the Ritz. Babylon, Gloria. So this is the name. The Gloria Funicular is a funicular tram railway line in the civil parish of Sant Antonio in Lisbon, Portugal, operated by Caris. It opened in 1885. And so Gloria, and I did a whole big post all about this. Well, obviously 37 to get her. What you need to know about the emergency alert. So all this is in my last newsletter as well. The siren, red, blue, the owl. This is for Fomalhaut, Aquarius, owl, but they're rising Fomalhaut, the lamp, and they're rising Babylon. So I've told you this from the 15th century, that is the Elizabethan century. The mother lamp has been reborn, and that came out, that was the news on the 5th of September. There it is, a heritage treasure reborn in Marciac, the mother lamp. This is where the Jazz in Marciac festival, Jupiter and Mercury, they welcome Venus on the corner, keeper of the four corners, Sirius. So the lamb, the thalamus, the third eye. What happens in William Telltale? He gets the apple on the child's head and rises Adam's apple again. Biarritz, the five-pointed star. So I knew she was going to win. I was talking about it. They said 51. I was hoping nothing was going to happen to her too, because you never know. So a goat turns up in the middle of our village, obviously. So Wednesday, the 3-9, or the 9-3. So Diana died at 39. Mercury, Diana died at 3-6, obviously. And all this you can read. So yeah, I will go right into it. There's a lot. And there is that little tram on the Wednesday. Wednesday's child is full of woe. There's Madonna, who had to play the part in Lisbon. There is the fish of the Vesica Pisces. They had a rave on the burnt, barren land of Ouds. And there is Lisbon herself. I mean, you can't make this up. She's called Lisbon. So the Doors, LA Woman. And they also sung Gloria. The Doors through is through Gloria. EliZa met Beth Line. EliZa, George, Boy George, England. The hormonal Liza, Liza McNally, and Lady Gaga, you know. So we had the Honourable Liz Truss, the Elizabeth Line, and the Elizabeth Line is the Cancer constellation. So Mercury just did his journey, Mercury Wednesday over the beehive. And now Venus was on the claw. So for that day, the moon was on the noon key in D'Artagnan, Jupiter, killing the fertility. So Uranus went retro, the 5-6-9, the war for the fixed cross, the war for your girl, Georges. Taurus, the throat passage. Uranus retro back to Algol, Medusa, and Salome kills John, Scorpio. Solomon is sun and the moon, not Salomon. Salome, it should be Solomon, the sun and the moon that close, but we've got to get past Dirty Diana. Sal is the pièce that you play in. It's the scene, and it's also dirty. So the breast is also the scène, the salle in the scène. In French, a cinema is called a salle de cinéma. It's the room, it's the pièce, and the scène is also the scene, and it's also the breast. So we had in England, Oxford Circus. So Oxford Circus apparently got picketers who grab They grab your telephone. So we not only have Mind the Gap, we've now got in England Mind the Grab. Mind the Grab, Mind the Claw. mind the grab at Oxford in Taurus, and that's what's happening now, rising Venus. So in the torso, hence why there are stabbings at Oxford Circus yesterday for the first quarter moon in Scorpio opposite Taurus. There was this stabbing. Last time Uranus did this last retro from Seven Sisters back to Medusa was in 1941. Diana, moon goddess, Venus in Taurus, died 28 chakra Vedic lunars. She died on the 13th pillar, and the horse of this girl is 13 years old. And I did on exactly the 7th of September 2013, that's 13 years ago, I did the Divine Feminine in the Gers, and it was after that summer that I was then brought back down to earth. I was still in my Divine Feminine, and I had to go through my last tests. So it's that 13, it's that B. She died on the 13th pillar. Okay, so again, you see her at the breast of Venus, Diana. That was on the 1st of September. Uranus read the War for the Fixed Cross, and that was the stabbing. That was the stabbing, I think, in Oxford Circus. That was when I tried to do my last YouTube video, the 31st. We had the thunder and lightning, we had big floods, and my video you couldn't hear. So yeah, for my last Patreon video, I didn't have any sound because of those storms. Then Black Rock City, I didn't know about the man that died there yet. And so the guitar, the geese. So then I had done a thing about Lisbon. I'd done a whole thing about her, Madonna with the guitar, and that's the fada. They have the guitar. This is where the girl is now the ruler of the, of the guitar, which is the wheel, which is the life. Everything is in the guitar. And then that was amazing because Dane did this image. 1 mile 22, so he's going to bring a video out on that. And I did ask to talk to him on Wednesday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time because I've got readings coming in and I'm leaving for my 1 week holiday. So you can go and you can read that. You can stop the video and read that. So that was me talking about Diana, Islam. So they said that they had found from a time capsule of 1991. I think I covered this in my last video. So just cover this one more time again, that lamp for the black moon. It was on the 28th, which wasn't the black moon, was on the 23rd. When was Venus on the torch again? Venus, that was a big date. When Venus was on the torch, we had a lot going on. On the 30th, Venus was bang on the torch. On the 28th, so for the last new moon in July, and then everything got going when they were conjunct. That was just such a big day. So the 28th of August, the lamp, and that is what that full total lunar eclipse is all about. And then the partial solar. So we had on the 28th, we had the moon next to Spica. Now 28 years. A young man pulled under the water by a catfish. That's Merlin, the lion cat, lion, merfish. They've had all these jellyfish coming up everywhere as well. stinging everybody. D'Artagnan has now got the Palestine flag on, and that was some shooting that happened in America at, again, Ox. Iron Niche was nicknamed the Mother Lamp by the inhabitants. It has kept to this name today. Its operation tells of a bygone era, a small capstan wound, the cord allowing the lantern suspended above the street to be lowered and raised. The lamplighter, with a key in hand, opened the gate and lowered the lamp. I mean, that was just so enormous that that lamp has been lit. And then we see her in her blue dress coming up. And that is the code of Marciac, 3223, 32 Paths of Wisdom, 2322, BB in the middle, CC, BB, and my postcode is 32290. So you've got the 9 and a 3, the connection between Aignan and us. So the mare lamp is reborn in Marciac. So Mars Els, and that is what we've now got. With Mars is going to be on that blue star. So watch out, this is really rising, the revolution, the Palestinians, the new government in France. Sun, Moon, Mercury. Moon rules Cancer, Sun rules Leo, Mercury rules Gemini, Mercury rules Virgo, and Jupiter is merging. The only way he can get onto the fixed cross is Mercury joining the Sun for Leo, or Gemini joining Venus. So Mercury joining Venus and Mercury joining the Sun, and we've got Mercury and the Sun conjunct the ruler of Leo and Virgo. And Jupiter rules where Saturn is, Saturn the true ruler of the Lamb. So that was the post of Jamie, and you can see the mandala, you can see the four corners that gives the spirit in the middle. There's always this passage to get through. Venus, somebody just said roundabout. Venus is always the roundabout. That's why the gilets jaunes were always standing around, and that shows you the ox going through. Luke, Venus. Fixed cross. So I think that's all I really need to say. It's a lot. It's really important what's just happened. We're ending an old world. Nothing is going to work if people are still in the old world. This is bringing up this female. We've got an opportunity. Never has a time been, you know, stronger for the woman. You can use the dark energy. Venus is seductive. She is, you know, she is all about money in Virgo, and she's all about compassion in Pisces, and in Taurus she is the mother. She is, but she's also very materialistic. This is about making money. This is really the strong woman, and they're bringing in his lamb, Islam. The lamb should be the, you know, the lion lies down with the lamb, but first they're rising this lamp, the light of Venus in this passage, as we're still in this gap, just coming back onto the fixed cross. We have to come through with Mercury, and this is how Jupiter can keep this hold as we're moving into this, onto this fixed cross. So then we've got 27. So the new moon eclipse is on the 21st. And that is, you know, then we're under the energy of Virgo, Mercury, and this is where Jupiter can really soak up. He's on Sirius. He's on the keeper of the four corners. So you can come and get Victoria's Astro Secrets. You've got the 2 videos, part 1 and 2, plus the 2 videos that we did on Patreon. So you get the feedback of all the people who attended, which is interesting, and you also get all the slides. And there is at the moment, so I will share this so that you can get this Victoria's Astro Secrets webinar now available. YouTube, so that's a clip so you can see. So you have a coupon code available for 1 week, and the code is Astro Secrets 20, and that gives you 20% off both Astrology for Beginners and Victoria's Astro Secrets. And if you're a member on Patreon, I've now your codes will now work for this as well, always. So your percentage 5-tier group, you get 5% off. 12 peer group tier, you get 12% off, and 25 group, you get 20% off. And that covers also these courses and all readings. Okay, darlings, we have covered the most important points today. Yeah, so that was on the Black Moon. I talked about the feuds that is to come now. But yeah, the most important thing is understanding Lisborn, this girl, this Venus, this energy of the Elizabeth line, of the hormonal EliZa. She's here. You know, it's been so many years of preparation. The Tudor Rose, the Elizabeth line, which they're going to stop at the throats. They're stopping it at the throat, at the gorge, at the Adam's apple. And they don't want you to reach your third eye, which is the true lamb. Okay, darlings, bye for now. Come for readings. I love you. Bye.